Okay, so you wake up on Monday and you're like, this is it. I'm going all in. New routine, new focus. I know exactly what I want. Tuesday, completely different idea. New plan, new direction. Equally convincing. By Friday, you haven't started anything because there were 6 brilliant ideas and they all made perfect sense and none of them won. And the worst part, it's not that you're lazy. It's not that you don't care. It's that you genuinely meant every single one of those versions of yourself. So which one is the real you? If that question just gave you a little anxiety, stay right here, because we're talking about Gemini today. And I know, you've heard it all. Gemini is two-faced. Gemini can't make up their mind. You never know which Gemini you're getting. Scratch all of that. In this explainer, we're getting into the actual why behind this behavior. We're looking at it not as some character flaw, but as a legitimate, highly sophisticated psychological blueprint. The Gemini mind, designed for duality and rapid processing. To really grasp this, we have to completely reframe how we look at the brain. The Gemini mind isn't just chaos, and it for sure isn't broken. It's a deliberate cognitive system explicitly designed for duality and rapid processing. Think of it like a high-performance engine, built from the ground up to intake and analyze multiple streams of information at absolute lightning speed. Single-stream processing versus simultaneous multi-stream processing, this is where it gets super interesting. There's a core difference between this specific architecture and how, well, most other people operate. Most folks experience single-stream processing, forming one thought, holding one opinion, looking at one side of a problem at a time. But this architecture, it runs on simultaneous multi-stream processing. That means you can see both sides of an argument literally instantly. You can hold two completely opposing ideas in your head at the exact same time and genuinely find the truth in both of them. Guys, that's not being scattered. That is a straight-up cognitive superpower. But okay. Let's talk about what happens when this superpower operates without a proper framework. It falls into a shadow trap. When your mind is literally built to process multiple information streams rapidly and see all sides equally, it becomes mathematically impossible to prioritize or fully commit. If every single idea is intensely interesting, nothing gets priority. So you end up being brilliant at starting things, but you really struggle with finishing them. You're amazing at connecting with people, but maybe you're quietly terrified of being known too deeply. Why? Because you're secretly exhausted by this feeling that you lack a definitive core version of yourself. The cycle of the divided self. The shadow trap builds into a honestly painful loop. Step 1, you start something, maybe a project or a whole new identity. And for a split second, it clicks. You're like, yes, this is it. But then step 2 kicks in. That curious multi-stream part of your mind wakes up and whispers, yeah, but what about this other idea? Suddenly in step 3, that rock-solid certainty becomes completely negotiable. And by step 4, you've quietly abandoned the project or the identity without ever really admitting it. And obviously, this leaves the people around you incredibly confused, and they're quick to just label you as inconsistent. The real wound, believing you are fundamentally incapable of depth or commitment. You actually start to believe those labels. I really want to emphasize this point. The changing of your mind, the constant curiosity, that isn't the actual problem here. The real wound is the shame you carry. It's that quiet, persistent belief that you're somehow broken, fragmented, or just fundamentally incapable of real depth and commitment. Nobody ever told you that your multiplicity isn't a malfunction. I want you to really hear this right now. Your multiplicity is not a malfunction. It's just unintegrated. The fact that you run multiple information streams at once, that is not a bug in your software. It is the core feature. You are absolutely not broken. The still point. The quiet center beneath all the mental noise. So the big question, how do we upgrade this system? How do we heal? The secret lies in mental integration, specifically understanding this concept of the still point. Think of it like a spinning top. When a top is spinning at max speed, the outside is just a total blur, right? It looks chaotic, noisy, totally unpredictable. But if you look at the very dead center of that spin, there's a point of perfect, unwavering stillness, holding the whole thing together. The mental noise doesn't stop, but you realize there is a quiet center beneath all of it. Suppression versus unification. Finding that still point requires a massive shift in strategy. Society always tells you that healing means picking one single thing and sticking to it forever. Pick a lane, right? But for this architecture, that's just suppression. And honestly, it will slowly destroy you. True mental integration doesn't mean picking one thing and locking yourself in. It means unification. It's about finding the invisible thread that runs through all of your seemingly different passions. Because believe it or not, they actually feed the exact same core identity. Let's actually walk through a concrete example of this. The mental integration process, so you can use it. Step 1. Identify 3 different passions. Say you constantly bounce between writing, studying psychology, and making content. Now, in the old pattern, you'd probably feel guilty for not just picking one of those. But in step 2, you ask a totally different question. What is the thread that runs through all of them? And then, step 3, you find it. You realize that your invisible thread is actually a deep fascination with human communication. Suddenly, writing, psychology, and content creation aren't distractions from each other anymore. They're all just different rooms in the exact same house. Relationships. Stop managing which you shows up. Just show up. All of it. This is huge because this breakthrough doesn't just apply to your hobbies. It completely transforms your relationships too. Think about how exhausting it is to constantly perform different versions of yourself for different people. The integrated approach is super simple, but so profound. Stop managing which you shows up. Just show up with all of it, the whole shebang. Now, yes, letting people see your full complexity means not everyone is going to get it, but the people who do, oh man, they will be fiercely devoted to you because they will have found a mind that genuinely contains multitudes and is finally completely unafraid of it. You were never divided. You were just waiting to be whole. And that leads to the ultimate transformation. When you find that still point, the mental noise and those multiple information streams, they don't magically disappear, but they are no longer in charge. You are now standing firmly at the center, doing the choosing consciously. Your intense curiosity actually becomes your greatest creative asset. You become someone who can hold incredible complexity without falling apart. You realize you were never actually divided. You were just waiting to be whole. What is your invisible thread? I want to end this explainer with an empowering challenge for your week. I really want you to sit with this question. What is your invisible thread? Take a look at the 3 or 4 passions you just keep circling back to and try to find the core concept connecting them all. Don't force it, right? The answer will come quietly when you let it. And when it does, please share your thread in the comments. Seriously, just name out loud is the very first step to integration. Thank you so much for exploring this. Please subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We're just getting started. I'll see you there.